And one fish, two fish. And one fish, two fish. And red fish, blue fish. All right. And one fish, two fish. And red fish, blue fish. All right, I think Twitch is good. And one fish, two fish. And red fish, blue fish. All right, I think Twitch is good. All right, and let's turn off the Twitch echo. Let's just double check the YouTube echo. And red fish, blue fish. All right, I think Twitch is good. All right, let's turn off the Twitch echo. Let's just double check the YouTube echo. All right, YouTube sounding fine. Happy Saturday. What are we doing? We're still working on the Rogue outfit. I'm going to try to finish up some map files for the... Most of the map files are set up. We still have to render thumbs. So I'll try to do that today. Also, I need to make a buckle. I need to attach the stuff to the belt. And we need to make progress on the knives and sheaths. So I think I'm going to finish up the cloak. Right now the cloak, it just needs to have the chain done, and I'm working on that. So we're going to work on that in Substance a little bit. Right now what I've got is something that looks like this, but I'm not really happy with the little... I have this chain product I picked up on ArtStation, so that's where this comes from, but I'm not happy with what I'm putting on the ends, which you can't quite see in its entirety, but it looks something like... Here, we'll bring that back up. I don't know. I just kind of knocked that out really quick, and I'm not happy with it. So what I think I'm going to do is find... Yo, Charles, how are you going? Check your DMs. Okay. Uh-oh. Put that over there. Oh, you got your snow. Look at that. Yeah, we didn't get anything from that. Although I still have more snow than that. Our snow really hasn't gone down. So I think we still have a good foot on the ground. Looks pretty though. I hopefully it's still snowing here. It's supposed to, and oh, but here's hoping it doesn't get too thick for you, dude. And I imagine you don't want to be out there with everybody else who can't drive in the snow. So good luck. I guess you're just gonna hunker in. Is that it? Yo, Pharaoh, how are you doing? Anyhow, I don't like what I did here. I'm gonna redo it. I think I'm gonna try to find something on my Dover clip art, and we'll work with that. Oh, here, let's shout out Charles so Farrell can follow Charles. Came in today and have a question too. All right, ask away. What I want is something kind of round, but actually maybe a squashed and sort of more portrait format. And I kind of want it in a shape so that we can kind of... I might just go with a round. And something like that might work. And I can probably turn that into a height and opacity map and stick it on the end of the chains. Is kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm going to use any of these or not, though. Those round things, though, might work, might do the trick. Third time is the charm. Yes, at first you don't succeed, fail, fail again, and then maybe you'll succeed. I have an outfit from the Antlet. Damn good deal for $2.99. Anyhow, it's D-Force G89, and you want to fit it without the headaches. I keep hearing about it a lot. You know what? You could probably... There's tricks. Give me a second here to figure out what I want to do with this clasp. And then we'll take a Genesis 9 D-Force outfit and maybe try to D-Force fit it. So usually D-Force has got a bunch of other settings in it. But we'll see. I mean, I would just re-rig it, but then again, I can do that without having to think too much about it. So that's cheating. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to go with this. and use it instead of this goofy thing. It's probably we're gonna kind of line it up on that, stick it over this. I might make these a little bit smaller. So I think I'm gonna just take that and drag it in here. That's kind of janky, but I can probably play with this. Let's clean this thing up. Let's get rid of the, okay, let's rasterize it first. And then we can do that. Control D. Oh, hold on a second. Uh, camera. Activate camera. Pointed at me. No, let's try that. And I can't see Twitch anymore. I'm gonna put you away over there. You're doing his first goal, but you don't know how to. I wouldn't worry too much about JCMs. 50 centimeters of snow. Oh no, that's too much. And he's back. Yes, what am I doing? I'm going to come back to this later. We'll take a quick look. A quick look at maybe when you do the conversion, it should do a lot of the JCMs is over a foot. 50 centimeters is getting close to 20 inches, isn't it? From what I understand. We got a little bit. I measured 12 to 14 in spots around here, which I guess is, I don't know, I can do this. um well, 10 is about 25, right? 25 centimeters. So 12 is about you add another 5 to that, about 30 centimeters. My rough, and I know it slides a little, so what is it, 2.54 centimeters to the inch. I normally will just say 25 and call it good. It gets me in the ballpark. The larger the centimeters get, the more my error will become. I guess if I wanted to be more precise, I could always do the point 0.4, but my brain doesn't math that fast. Anyhow, we're going to set that aside for a little bit. You never learned, you just faked it. Yeah, I kind of picked it. Part of it is Blender. I like working meters. I actually prefer working when making things in metric because it just scales better, other than trying to figure out feet and inches and, 3.5, 3 3/4 eighths of an inch, and it hurts. It hurts. So for distances, I don't know. I still don't have a good feel for actually, honestly, I don't even have a good feel for what a bile is. I don't know about accurate, but it's certainly easier to use because I don't know, because we think in base 10. So base, I don't know what, 16, base 8, base just doesn't, base 12. I don't know. I'm not sure how they came up with 12 hours in the day. There's probably some sort of weird reason. Might have to do with circles, but you still can, because you can't when you start chopping circles up. And I forgot what I'm doing. I'm going into Daz. That's right. There's Daz. I'm going to hide what I'm doing in here. Actually, I'm going to save this and come back to it. And we'll just do file in a new. And I'm going to see if I can find a D-Force Genesis 8 outfit. I'm sure I have them. That isn't mine. I guess we could do one of mine. Um, Now I got to resize this because now I can't see chat anymore. Oh no! Don't go away, chat. Camera. Okay, let's put you over here. Shoes are tricky. I would just honestly, I just end up remodeling shoes. Converting stuff to Genesis 9 is probably a lot easier than like 3 to 8. The transfer tool is nicer working with Genesis 9 than it is with Genesis 8. It adds extra things and it generally does a smoother job. That being said, here, let's go to Groovy. I don't have anything in there. Let's go take a look at what do we have in my test folders. You might be empty people, Genesis 8, clothing, uh, outfit. There's the clog outfit. We can do that. Um, if I just do that, the auto fit goes okay sometimes. Um, but if you don't want to do that, Genesis 8 female. This is just a loose bodysuit. Okay, if you give a stream when you have free time, help me if you don't mind. No, we can kind of do some a little bit now, and then yeah, if you do a stream, I'll try to pop in. You planning to stream in the near future? Bodysuit loose. Okay. That was that the clogs? That was the clogs. And it wants to do Genesis 8 female bodysuit loose. I should redo the clogs because I called that a bodysuit. Um, and then we've got one more. This is I think the shirt. I think that was the pants. I should actually read this. That would help because it actually tells you what you're doing. Go figure. Right now you have, but you got your neighbor's computer, mostly needs a drive. It has a 1060 card and 32 gigabytes. Oh, that should be usable. I'm going to redo the shoes because they have a perfectly good shoe template. Actually works kind of nicely too. Uh, Footwear template. I don't know. Let's see where we are. We, of course, want to be using the female shape. So, I mean, in general, I don't know about you. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to go like this. Let's just do. Let's just do a quick, because it's deforced. I'm going to go hunt down my poses, which means I'm putting my content library over on screen two for a little bit, because I don't know what's sitting out in there. This is awful floppy, so you don't need precision with this outfit. I think I'll try to find something that's a little tighter, and we'll work with that and see how that works a little bit. Because of the looseness in this outfit, it gives you a whole bunch of extra. Yeah, it gives you a whole bunch. It's pretty forgiving with the baggy shape here, I think. So probably not the best outfit to. This is probably a best case scenario fit. That's what I'm saying. And I'm lost. Where am I? I'm going over to my Daz library. I'm looking for poses. That's what I'm actually doing right now. People. Genesis 9 poses. So let's come over here to. I'll use these Iona poses. I like those. I can bring the content library back for a little bit now. We'll do the one of the kick-ass poses. These are designed for the female. Like just do that. So, that's probably, and then if we run the sim, and then if we render, I think this is okay. I don't think for this one, the auto fit kind of does the trick. Unless I'm getting some weirdness in the legs. If it accidentally, say I probably got some weirdness in the legs with the fit. It probably pushed in. So that would probably require some cleanup. So that's exactly what happened there. So to fix that, is there an easy way to fix that? I mean, I would just pop it in the ZBrush and clean it up with that, but that's not an option for a lot of users. I mean, you could take the pants into Blender, update the geometry, and bring it back and clean it up that way. So the idea is what you have right there in the legs is the meshes uh, gone into itself on either side. You just kind of need to make sure they're separated and there's a little gap in there. I have tricks to fix this, but it's kind of tedious. So I don't have a really good suggestion on how to fit that. That's really easy to use. I mean, without doing, yeah, I mean, because I have ZBrush, I can easily clean that up before we simulate it. Yes, a lot of it's tedious. Um, I'm trying to think how I could get this over, and there's not an easy way for me to think to fit this to Genesis without maybe doing a goofy simulation thing. Because what we might be able to get away with, if I change the shape of it, no, I'm not thinking of a good way. most of the ways I would fit clothes often have to deal with ZBrush and Blender to make sure things don't do stuff like that. Or I could kind of do it the same way I rig shoes, but that's overly complicated for most people too. Because we could actually kind of pose this, simulate it from that pose to a memorized pose, and then resave. So maybe we'll do that. Here, let's try this. So can I just bend these legs and will they move properly? So if I can get these separated out, and I can see I could use some joint cleanup in there, right? And then if we ran a simulation starting from here, going down, going back to the default pose, save it out, update the geometry that way. Like I said, it all gets complicated, Farrell. But what I am thinking is something like this. I would clean up these joints too, because these are, you can kind of see how the rigging's a little goofy on those. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to test this out. Let's go over to simulation settings. Let's switch over to this one right here. The default's current frame, so I generally make sure all of my stuff works like that because I kind of assume a lot of users will never touch this. But we'll do the animated timeline for this one. So what it should do is when it simulates, it should come together. Also, we're going to turn start for memorized off. Am I right? The rigging between G9 is, yeah, it is different. That's part of the shaping. So here, let me do this. Also, I can turn gravity off. Um, Environment. You know what? I'm going to lighten up gravity so that it doesn't droop too much. Let's switch gravity to 0.1 on this. Let me. Okay, now let's simulate this. Oh, that looks. And then when these legs come together, the two meshes should not cross into each other, is what I'm thinking. And then we can export this out and update geometry with this new shape. And then when we sim normally, it should work. At least that's the theory. Oh, the naming conventions are totally different. It's annoying. It's one of the things that prevents me from sharing hierarchical material files. Um, they can kind of work, but ultimately, if I'm using rigid follow nodes, it doesn't find the right bone, and so it won't change the color of the bone with the hierarchical material file. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't make an explosion. My stuff seldom explodes. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to export this out. Then we're going to re-update this, and then we're going to go back to the default simulation and see how that works out. So what I did is I posed the legs apart. I put it on a timeline simulation. I put it back to the default. And then what I'm going to do is this becomes the new shape without the inside of the legs crossing across each other and getting stuck. So the idea is this should work. So I'm going to take that. We're going to turn off we're going to switch back to the base. Also, I'm going to turn the smoothing off. Then we just export this as our new shape. Is that my export? There's an export. I have no idea where you're going. This is good enough. I'm just going to save it right in here. Um, We'll just say pants on that. Okay, export that. Okay, we're going to reset. Actually, it doesn't make any difference. We're going to do that. Now we're going to update the base geometry, vertex position, using that shape we just made, pants, wherever the hell I saved it, right down there. I think I named it Pats, actually. And if I accept that, and this should all be good for my standard import. Because I export everything at 1%, I import everything back in at 10,000%. There we go. You can kind of see that. So now we'll switch back to our regular settings here. Can I just restore this? Probably not. I'm going to put gravity back to 1. And we're going to turn that back to memorized. I'm going to switch you back to current frame. That's the default. So my content library. So we'll put this pose back on. And I think it should work better this time. Because now we don't have the insides, that leg crossing. At least that's the theory. And I don't know if you followed all of that. I go kind of fast. But that seems to be doing the trick. Before we could see how the legs are sticking together there, right? And after adjusting the shape, just using Daz D-Force, we're not getting that stuck inside of itself. Yo, it's DJ Ray Partey. How you doing, Ray? If you save the video to VOD, you can watch it and slow it down. We'll do that. I'll try to remember to cut it out later. I'll go back to the part where I run the simulation and it doesn't work. So that's kind of a quick fix to get these Genesis 8 pants onto Genesis 9. So granted, I do have Genesis 9 versions of these, but that's not what your question was. So that's one of the tricks I would do to reshape things to fit. I can also use that kind of trick using the animated timeline to fit different shapes. So you start with a basic one here, and then down the timeline you just dial in your new shape, and you let the closed D-force to fit that. How's Ray doing today? Okay, so that's kind of my quick tips, a few quick tips on fitting stuff without having to use ZBrush or Blender, which is what I would really do. And my brain has stopped. I'm going to go back to making map files, I think. Yeah, we're going to close that timeline because I don't need to see that no more. And I don't know if I answered your question or not, Farrell, because I've lost track of what I'm doing. Look at how nice those shoes actually kind of fit just using the auto. Probably wouldn't have worked with heels. These are basically a flat foot shoe, and even then it's a little janky. But I think there's toes posed in here. If we unposed the toes a little bit, it would probably work out a little bit better. If we reset all of those, not really. I'm always good, just chilling. Did you get negative last night, Ray? It wasn't the rigging and the name difference. It would be so much easier to refit. Yeah, honestly, the auto fit for Genesis 9 works pretty well. It's pretty decent, but you still get some issues. And it is a lot easier to go from 8 to 9 than 9 to 8. Probably still negative, or you probably got into negatives. You don't know though. You were asleep. All right. I'm gonna go back to what I was doing. I'm gonna open up this mats here. We're not gonna save that. I don't want to accidentally break my sweatpants because I do have working copies of these that work. Oh, and then once you're done with that, you can always just resave it if you want to. Okay, so in here, I'm making a cloak. What happened to my template? I don't know. There it is. I'm going to move that up here so we can see. I have to get this inside of the template area here. I'm going to clean this up first, though. That's what I was in the middle of. Um, let's switch you to contiguous off. I'm going to do. I'm in the wrong one. I think I'm going to do that. Actually, I think I'm going to control D. We're going to grayscale this, adjust the levels, add a little bit of a, and then size it down to fit, something like that. Image, adjust, desaturate. I don't want to just, actually, I don't want to desaturate the whole thing, do I? I just wanted to desaturate this. I think I can just do this from here, right? Image, adjust, desaturate. I've lost it now. There it is. There we go. That's what I wanted. Compared to you when using D-force, does the rigging not as much? If it's fitting the initial shape, D-force basically ignores everything once it starts. Depending on, well, I want to say kind of ignores. It depends on your dynamic strength. Dynamic strength means completely dynamic. Zero means not dynamic. So whatever the rigging is affects it. So I mean, I'll adjust dynamic strength to, like, the belt here is probably going to be set to like a 0.5 or something. So it's a little dynamic, but it mostly keeps the shape and whatever the rigging will do on it. But if you just set it to 1, it's completely dynamic. So then when it poses, it's just simulating to the body. And I of course I chose the belts. The one of the few things in the scene that doesn't have. I don't think actually that I think the cloak has D-force on it. Just to show you where the no, the cloak does not have. I gotta it turns D-force off on everything. I'm gonna put D-force on real quick again. D-force, add D-force. There we go. And then we can come down here and take a look. Dynamic strength. That's that right there. A lot of a lot of products will have that adjusted by default. But if you set it to 100, it's completely dynamic, so the rigging really doesn't matter. The problem is the clothes may not actually be designed to be completely dynamic, and you might get things like sliding. Like in this case, if I make this bodice completely dynamic, it'll just slide right off the chest. And I don't even know if you can see the bodice in there. But you can try and play with the settings, of course. All right, I'm back to here. I'm back to here. I've got this weird edging in here. I'm going to try to clean that up. Or maybe not. Maybe, you know what? I'm not. I'm just going to do this. It's a little noisy. Let's run a couple of filters on there. Is there a noise? And is there, what is the, I'm just going to do a blur, and we're going to just do a smart blur to try to smooth that out a little bit. I can't see anything with that. You know what? That might do the trick. And then I'm going to Control M, and we're going to tweak it like so. I'm going to select this stuff here, and I'm going to pop the color on that. Likewise, I think I'm going to try to pop this gray stuff in here up a little bit. And I'm going to use this as a height map. And I'm not sure how that will also, and then we'll also just fill the whole thing with white and use it as an opacity map. So I want basically this color. Let's try that again. That's a little, why is this color so freaking uneven? That really doesn't help things. It's just because of the way it was scanned, I'm sure. You know what? Maybe I'm just going to leave it like that. We'll see how it goes. Let's put a little bit of a blur on the edge here. I'm just going to do a little inner glow on that. I'm going to call Control T. I need to actually get you to fit. I can't do anything now inside there. I'm not going to touch this, so I'm going to do that there. I'm going to bring you up over here. I'm going to kind of nudge you up against that over there. I think that's good. I'm going to hide these groups because I'm going to try it like this. I'm going to try to maybe adjust this to fit a little better on here. Okay, let's duplicate that. Is it Control D? Shift D? I don't know, just to duplicate layer. Control Shift D, of course. That's Photoshop. Why have a single keystroke and letter when you can have two? When you can overcomplicate things. It's like I can't remember things anyhow, Photoshop. Probably Control D probably does something else. So what I think I'm going to do is maybe adjust the chain underneath here a little bit. I think I'm going to slide so that this ends up over here. And I think that is chain opacity, and I think I did name the other one, right? Chain height. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of do that and call that good. I think I'm going to live with that. Although I think I'm going to punch up the brightness on these two. Can I do those together? Of course not. That would have been too easy. Control M. Um, and what did I do? Input, is that 87? I'll try that. I can always save this. You know what? I'm just going to eyeball the other one. Or actually, I'm just going to delete that and then just use the one I just did. And then we'll just reduplicate this. Control Shift D, was that it? That seemed to work. Look at me, I remembered how to do something. And I'm outside of the template. There we go. Let's try this. I'm going to go ahead and merge those together. No, I'm not. I'm going to duplicate. We're going to duplicate those. I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to do that and that. We're going to fill these in with white. And I'm going to drag these back down here. So they're going to become part of the opacity. Dum dum. Where was I? I'm going to hide these two first just a second. And I don't need to see that. I'm just going to fill this in with white. Is that Control F5? Shift F5? My brain is not beginning this right today. And I used the wrong color. Shift F5. Use the white foreground color. There we go. And I turn that off already. And then Shift F5. All right, that's my opacity map. Let's save that. File, export as that one right there. Chain opacity. I'm going to overwrite that. We're going to bring this into Substance to finish it off. Okay, so those are good. And then this is going to work as a height map with that and these two. Control Shift. No, save. File save as. Dang it. I was about to do Control Shift E like I was in Substance. Export as. This is the height map. We're going to do that. Say yes. Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to hide Photoshop for a little bit and we're going to jump over into Substance now. And right now I don't have a good texture on that chains thing. And so we're just going to fake detail using a displacement map and opacity map. Because Chris is a slacker that way. Adobe Substance 3D Painter is opening up over on screen 2. And there it is on screen 1. All right, let's put you over here so Chris can still see chat. Let's open up the Nightshade, the Night Veil outfit. I'm going to add this into, I've got metals in here somewhere. Let's collapse that. Stitches. Here we go, the pouch button. I'm going to use these. I'm going to kind of use copies of these. Let's start with the gold. So I'm going to bring the gold up and we're going to mask. What do we got? I think I have a color selector in here. So I'm going to get rid of that. What I want to do is let's zoom in. And we're going to take that color there. So right now it's gold. We're going to tweak the settings on that. Can I do it here? So in here, I got to import those two files, right? File, import resources, add resources. Where are we? I'm not sure, but I think I want to be over here. There they are. I want those two right there. All right, let's put my generic identifier on all of the stuff I import in. We're going to call these alphas. And I just want this for the project, so we're just going to do that. Hey, thanks for being here. More shallow. I'm sorry. How much snow do you still have on the ground there, if you're still here? Well, before you get another 20 inches of snow tonight. Import those. Okay, so I do want an alpha on here. And I'm going to use a height map. And we're going to create a normal map from our height map using a filter. At least that was the plan, but I don't see any options for that. So I think I'm just going to have to do... I'm just going to do this from scratch. We're not going to use this material. I'm just going to do a blank fill layer and go from there. Not a lot. Neighbor's brother plowed the driveway, so little cleanup. Yeah, I can understand that. That reminds me, my neighbor said he was going to borrow my snow thrower today, and where did my phone go? Oh no, I left my phone somewhere. I should put my phone back on its little charger there. Okay, let's tweak. So I'm going to get rid of that gold. I'm going to add just we're just going to start with a blank fill layer. We're just going to add a mask with a color selector so I can then select that. Yeah, take care, Farrell. Yeah, and if you do stream, I will keep an eye out for that and be sure to pop in. So fingers crossed that you're streaming soon. Okay, fill layer. I'm going to have a height map. We're going to use roughness. We're going to use metallicity. I'm going to add a filter for a normal map. Base color, we're just going to kind of do this as a gold. So I'm going to just kind of have you kind of in here. I like my gold to lean a little bit towards orange. I like my brasses to be a little more yellow and lighter. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm seeing some height and bump map coming through, so we're going to tweak that. We'll come over here and we'll come over here and say height map, and we'll just do normal instead of that blend method. I'm going to do the same thing with the normal map. And that still isn't quite flat. What am I getting in? What is coming through here? Something is blending through. Is it the stitches darker? Nope, those are the only things on top. Oh, I have to, oh, this is in a group, so I have to make sure the group does the same thing. I should say pass through. That's what I should say. So instead of using this, it does whatever is in the, there we go. That's better. Getting there. Okay, height map. I'm going to use my height map like that. There we go. So there's those details. So the roughness, I'm going to make that really shiny. Metallicity, I'm going to crank that up so it's really metallic. The normal, we're going to pull from a filter. And you know what? I'm going to use opacity on this. We have an opacity map for that. There we go. And that's going to kind of what we're going to do for the chain there. Is that looking dark underneath from, is that in the base color? I can't see. It's burnt in a little bit in the base color, but it's not too bad. I think that's going to be fine. I'm thinking. Can I adjust the height map? Anyhow, let's put the normal. I'm not sure I'm going to see that in Daz, what I'm seeing right there. And this is a totally not accurate representation of what I will get in Daz. Normal map. I'm going to put a normal map on here too. We're just going to do that with a filter. To add a filter. And we're going to use a height to normal. There we go. So when we, oh, and this is always way too big. I'll set that. Of course, I type. There we go. That's better. Let's take a look at our normal. See, that looks nice. I like that. I think this is going to work. So I'm going to have to resave. I have to resave all the stuff, all the maps for the cloaks. I have the mats files already done, so I'm just going to swap these out. So let's start with what I got. I got the gold. We're going to do velvet. There's like 7, and then there's worn versions. So we're going to take care of those. And I need copies of copies of this. This is going to be, I'm going to say this is, am I in the right thing? Did I lose my gold? I think I accidentally got rid of my gold. Damn it. I can just get that back from here. I can just duplicate that layer and just tweak you. And that will act as a gold. But I don't need that right now. I'm going to call you gold clasp. I'm going to make 3 copies of this. Is it Control D? Yay. There we go. That one I'm going to just make dark. This is going to end up being basically kind of a metallic black. It'll go nicely with the black version and the black cloak. This one is going to be, we'll make the brass out of this one here. So I'm going to just take that up here a little and bring you out over here. That's kind of my brass color that I go with. And you're going to be silver. Usually for silver, I do something somewhere in here. Just a touch of blue and make it pretty light. All right, we're ready to start resaving cloak. And I have to export everything because it's just easier that way. that's my excuse. Um, so let's switch to here. Let me just make sure I have all this stuff set up for exporting our cloaks. You know, the rest of this, I only have to be worried about the cloak. So I don't have to worry about eyelets. So those can all be the same. I don't have any laces. These 2 are for the boots, so I don't actually need them. You know what? I'm just going to turn all that stuff off too. Um, boots and pouches, that is not needed. That's not needed for the cloak. So the cloak, I just need this, and right now I got black leather. And what is my opacity map looking like? And is the rest of this going to be blue? I'm going to put a... I'm going to leave that alone. We'll see what the opacity map comes out. I think I'm ready to save black. Black cloak, leather, and clasps. Those are the only things. Oh, and the stitches are good for right now. Two versions will use the gold stitches. Everything else just uses darker stitches, which with black means you don't even really see them. I think this is good. Let's export and see what we got. I'm going to do a 6-channel UDIM because I need that opacity map. That's my 6th channel. Let's export that. So the only ones I really need are these 1002s. These are the cloaks right here. I'm sure there's a way to set this material up to ignore all the other UDIMs except for this one. But I'm not sure what that is. By the time I figured it out, I might be done. Okay, 2 o'clock, 1 hour into the stream. After this, we're going to get the knives and things set up. Hey, this works out well. 6, and I need these ones here, and we're going to swap these out for whatever's in there right now. That one needs to say black. So ideally, it'll tell me I'm trying to overwrite 5 files. So there's my cloak directory. So I'm going to put that over there. And I'm just going to drag and drop these over here. Actually, it should, I think I made a holders for that as well. So it should complain that I'm trying to update 6 files. Move here. There it goes. Replace these 6 files. Yeah, we're good. Means I'm heading in the right direction. Boom. I don't need any of these. We'll get rid of those. Um, okay, we're going to save the velvet now. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to pop over here to leathers. We're going to turn that off. I'm going to open up these velvets. We'll do the red velvet first. And red velvet goes with the gold. Which one of these did I use? Damn it. I used gold. No, was that the black? I think it was the black. It was the black. Okay, excellent. I should type black into here so I know what it is. So I didn't screw up that one. Okay, so I don't want to use... And I think you're silver, right? That's the brass. That's the silver. Let's call you silver so I know what you are. Hi-ho, silver. Okay, but for this red, I want to use this. And also, for this red gets a gold stitching. It's fancy. And this is on velvet, and this is a velvet. So we're going to save that out. Control Shift. Actually, and for the velvet, I want to turn that on. I think I want to come over here and I'm going to turn these off. And I think I'm good to go. We'll see what this looks like. And then there's a black version with the gold. We're going to do that after this one. Export that. I don't need the opacity map. I only need the opacity map once. Because it's the same for all of these. Except later on, we'll let it tattered map. But for right now, right, I think that's good. There's our export folder. Right, don't need those. I think this is all good. I'm going to actually call this red and gold. Red gold, there we go. That should want to move here. Did I not get a conflict? I didn't get a conflict. Why did I not get a conflict? Because I think I called it red. I did, and it's velvet. So I'm going to just call it, I'm just going to use this name here, which you can't see because I'm doing this over on screen too. And get rid of you. I'm just going to update that with this. Should be good. Okay, I don't need this. I do, the roughness has changed because there's now a clasp on there. And your velvet roughness, because that's the velvet. Velvet roughness. That normal map needs to be updated for the velvet normal. That metallicity map needs to be updated for the velvet. And then the opacity map, I said we don't need. All of these maps are for other parts of the outfit we're not working on. And I'm going to call that velvet as well. Okay, it's good. Okay, let's move these over and see if we get our four. No, it has three. Why am I only getting three? Because the velvet height map. Because was I not using a velvet height map before? We'll see. That may end up being an unneeded map. Okay, so that's good. Now I'm going to export out some colors. Then we're going to do the worn versions. And fingers crossed, I won't have to redo the map files because I may have set them up correctly already. Anywho, so we're going to turn off red velvet. We're going to turn on the black velvet. And that should be the only change I need to save the next color file, because I was using that with the gold thread and I want to use the gold clasp on that. So we'll do this. And we're going to switch over to a base color UDIM template. So this just sends out the base colors for all the UDIMs. And I think that will need to say, what, velvet, black, and yada, yada, yada. Maybe not. Where is the... No, I just called that black and gold. So that one right there, I'm going to update with this. Those we don't need. This goes over here. Yep, let's replace that. Okay, okay, now I'm going to do the white. The white's going to use silver, and I no longer need the gold stitches. We're just going to switch back to the darker. And I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to activate that and turn the black velvet on. So that's the what passes for white velvet in Chris's world. Export that. Come over here and see what did I call you. I just called you white, I think. That's probably okay. I think if I do this, I'll get a proper... Move that over there. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try that again. I'm going to copy the name of the white and make sure that it's correct. And then drag and drop you over there and replace. Yep, okay. We're getting there. I still have 3 more color maps, I think, as I did the base black already. Yeah, and these we don't need. All right, moving along. Okay, so we're done with the velvets on the for the cloak. And we're going to work on the leathers. Tan and tan, brown, green are all going to use the brass. And those are just using the darker stitches. Basically, I'm multiplying at 50% black. All right, I think that's good. Control Shift E. This will be tan. Then I still got to do worn versions. So that right there becomes tan. I'm going to just get rid of these. You can just knock these out really quick. Here's the brown. Hopefully I'm not moving too fast. If I move too fast, that won't generate properly. I did see it update, but it's updating while I'm exporting. And we'll just pop over here. That looks good. Delete, delete, delete. Rename. I should be able to just say brown, but I'm a little worried that I'm not typing these right. So I'm just copying and pasting. And I think I need the green because I think the black was already done. What do the properties say for the black? It doesn't say. Properties. When were you generated? Saturday at 2:02 p.m. So that one is good. All right, I just need to knock out a green. Dum 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 dum. Dum. Export that, and away we go. All right, back over to here. Don't need, don't need, don't need. Just want this one. I think I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to type in green. Let's see if this works. Move here. 3. All right, that worked. All right, we're getting there. Making the progress. Oh, hold on a second. All right, we're coming back. All right, we're gonna do the orange versions of the cloak. All right, so let's reactivate the dirt. This is the leather version, which means I'm not going to label it leather. So I'm going to save this as a. I don't need. So what I don't need is I don't need the opacity map anymore. I also don't really need a normal and a bump map. I just need the metallicity, roughness, and the color maps. So I'm just going to do a 5 channel, which includes a bunch of extra garbage I don't need. But as you may have noticed, I just delete off the stuff I don't need. Because it's just a little faster for me to. What does 3 channels do? I should maybe come in here and redo some of this stuff. Did I get my 5 channel UDIM? There we go. Like I said, sometimes it's just faster to generate the excess maps than it is to try to remember how to set up a new template. And I just have to do this twice. Is this the worn? This is the worn one. Yep. And this is the worn elemental PQRSTUVWVW. So it should just be worn roughness. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so the export folder, don't need all of those. That should just be worn green. That should just be, I don't need those two. That should just be a worn metallic. I think I accidentally deleted my roughness. Yeah, I need to keep that. I want that and that to go away. So that becomes worn. Worn metallic. And this is the worn roughness. And we should be able to just drag and drop those over there. Move here. 3. Excellent. Now we can knock out the other 3 leather colors. Then we're just going to do a worn version of the velvets. Over here is good. So we'll do the tan and the brown. And then I got to change that to black and make this black. And then we retool for the velvets. So this is all good. I'm just going to do that and then export that out. That's the worn brown. That was the wrong button. Now I've jammed it up with fat-fingered shortcuts. There we go. Export that. Chillax for a minute while it exports out. Got my Rod Shelley mug out today. There's the girls of TNA. So much green, so little time. Hey, Leo, how are you doing today? It doesn't have to be green, it could be tan. How exciting is that? I think. Oh, I went past my export. You my export? Oh no, I'm still doing 5 channels. Dang it. I only needed this one map right here. Cole just finished a walk around the Burr block. I feel you, man. Ooh, we're at a balmy 22 today. I can't remember the last time we were above freezing. It might have been last week. It might have just peaked over a little bit in the middle of not the like a week and a half ago maybe. All right, I'm going to move that over to here. Yay, it whined. It said, "Hey, you got to copy that." And I said, "Yeah, I know. Let's go." Okay, the brown is done. Let's do the tan. And Control Shift E, and I'm going to remember to switch this to just the base color UDIM version and export that. It's 20 here. It's 20 in the south and snow. You actually are getting snow today, right? From that nor'easter off the coast, which I'm just out of range of. All right, probably good. Let's take a look. That one right there, worn tan. Move that over here. Delete those. Back over to here. We're going to do a 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I wish I had a Celsius right here on the thing. It would make my life a little easier. It's my stupid Windows. I've looked at it. I don't know. There's probably some sort of spyware that'll let you see it. One of these little add-ins that sells your data to somebody. Yeah, it's free. You're the product. My map has a toggle between it. That would be nice. Normally, the Windows shows it over on the bottom, right? Except during the week when it thinks somehow stock prices are important. So I'm going to switch that to black. And then this one up here, I'm going to turn off the brass. We're going to put that back on black. Then we're going to export that out. And that's the worn black color, courtesy of Microsoft. Yeah, I swear other versions of Windows had a better. It had a better clock too. I used to be able to open up the clock and got a second hand, and I don't see that anymore. I think this is good. This is the worn black. Then I have to do some worn velvets, and we should be done. Well, done with the cloak. We're then going to move on to texturing the. We're going to get the dagger and the scabbard into Daz, and then we're going to texture those up. All right, you're probably good. Don't need those. Want to rename you. Okay, drag and drop. Yes, replace. Excellent. Moving along. Okay, so I'm going to switch this back to gold. And we're going to go to the golds. Actually, I'm going to leave this. This should be silver. We're going to take care of the white velvet first. All right, so we're going to hide the leathers. We're going to bring back the velvets. I'm going to turn this on. We got the white velvet ready to go. I have that set to silver. This should be fine. Control Shift E. I'm going to do 5-channel UDIM with this one because I need a metallicity and a roughness map with this. And then we got to save out a red and gold and a black and gold version. Okay, so things I don't need. I want to see if I can get this to be 5 wide. Oh no, almost, almost. Oh, nope, wrong thing. That was Daz. There we go. I like that because that means I can just delete all of that. Delete all of this. I don't need these two. And then I then want to have this say velvet white, worn. Is it worn velvet white? What do you call? Worn, you're just worn white. Okay. Try to spell white properly. And I need an underscore in there because that's just the way I do things. Okay, that needs to be worn velvet metallic. No, I already have metallic in there. What am I doing? Stop that. And then this is worn velvet roughness. Worn velvet roughness. Let's see if these work. Move here. 3 files, same names. Excellent. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to switch the stitches to the gold. We're going to go back to the gold clasp. And then I'm going to switch this to the black. I'm going to give it a second to refresh everything. So you can see the gold thread with the black. And this is the velvet version. So, and we're just going to save out base color. That says bumps, doesn't it? Base color UDIMs. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. So don't need those, and then I just need to rename you black gold base. I think I have one more of these to do. I still have to make opacity maps for tattards, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. Um, turn that off, and then we're just going to turn the black off, turn the red on. And export that. That's looking fine. That's not looking fine. Why does that look so... Oh, that's better. Oh, that's because that's the one that was left from before. Doy. Alright, don't need these three because they're already done. I do, and then we just rename you. Drag and drop. Move here. Replace two files. Yes, please. Close that. Close that. I mean, I guess I could save a tattered map out. Yeah, let's try to just knock the tattered map out really quick here. So I'm just going to switch you to opacity. And let's come over here and say tattered. And there's the Chris Cox torn and tattered starter file. I'm going to just drag and drop that on there. And I'm actually going to need to put this behind the clasp so I get that. And I should... So if we take you and bring you out past here. There we go. So I get that. And then I'm going to adjust adjust our well, that kind of went a little wonky, didn't it? Anyhow, I never really did. I don't know why I keep including that one, that nylon webbing. I never really liked the looks of that. Then I'm just going to, basically I'm going to use two of these. And we're going to scale one of these up by about 2.5. Usually does the trick. So that kind of does that. And then we're going to fray the edges. So I'm going to put a paint layer in here. And there's the new frayed edge thing. So I'm going to fray the edges along here. And I think maybe the bottom of the bodice and the bottom around the ankles. So we'll do that. So I got this. We're going to come over here to this apparel, and there's a fabric edgeware. And we'll just do that, and I'm just going to draw that across here. All right, I can see it's kind of bleeding through to the back, so we're going to adjust the projection depth to stop it from doing that. And also, I'm going to set this to multiply so that I can keep the fabric details in this white area here. Like that. So that looks good. There we go. I like that. Looks good. Hit the escape, and I can come over here. And I'm gonna kind of do that. Let's see how this goes. Actually, I'm gonna put this on another layer because I want to limit it to not doing the laces. So we're gonna use a color selector mask with that. So it's thinking, it's thinking. I want to do that and that. I think that's good. And then I can come in here and we can kind of set that up. Same thing we did before. We'll multiply that through. I think that'll be fine. And do I want to do anything? I don't think I'm going to tatter this. And maybe I'll just leave it like that. The bracers. But those are the only things. I really just want to do the cloak. And I just want to do... Definitely don't want to do the belt. So you know what? I think I'm going to put a opacity fill layer and we'll block the belt out. I can also just not select it as in the surfaces when we apply. All right, this is good. Let's oh no, I wanted to come down here, didn't I? So I'm going to come over here again because I'm not so discerning with this one. I need to get that a little closer to the edge. Because I got a little bugaboo down there, don't I? Yeah. This probably works. Hit the escape key and go to the next one. Probably good. All right, let's export that out. That'll become... No, wait. I don't want a hole right in the crotch. So, which one are you? You both are putting holes in the crotch. Uh, I'm just going to offset that a little bit like so. And then we'll just maybe do that. It's probably good. Probably fine. If I say no, I want to do UV. Never mind. It gives me a little weirdness in the back. I think that would probably be okay. That doesn't look too bad. After I tweaked things around a little bit, it doesn't look so bad now. I'll Control Shift E. Export. Oops. Cancel. Did I export anything? Nope. Okay. Because we wanted to do opacity UDIM and export that. And I'm going to hit save here. Run over here. I'm not going to use the opacity maps with the pouches or the boots. And we're going to call you tattered. And same thing over here. And we'll put these into the appropriate folders. That goes into the cloaks. And that will go in with the rest of the outfit. Okay, should be fine. Let's go double check. How my cloaks are coming out. We're just gonna run the. So I should have the fingers crossed. I set my map hero files up right. I'm gonna hide everything but the cloak, and I want to see if that works out well. Dun, 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 dun. Let's hide you. Hide the pouches. Hide the boots. Select the cloak. Come over here. Let's go back to Night Veil. People. I think the materials are still under the G. There they are. Black cloak. Did that work? That says boots. That did not work. That would be why that didn't work. Maybe we try the cloak materials on the cloak. What a novel idea. I'm getting a. I think my light's got green in it. That's what's going on here. So there's not really green. Yeah, it's not too bad. I can probably live with that. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm just gonna switch this to iRay. Zoom in a little bit. We'll just. That was a leather black. This is a leather brown. Let me tweak my renders, make sure my render settings are good. I think my render settings okay. I think I've got backlighting in here is what's going on. Let me see. Do I have my light set turned on? I do. Although, what kind of, how am I rendering? I am rendering dome and seam. I want to zoom in. Is my camera blurring? After we went to all the trouble to set this up, let's see how it looks. Yeah, my camera's got depth of field on it. Let's fix that. Yeah, it looks fine. That gives me the fake detail that I want. I'm getting a lot of, so I think I'm good. I'm going to turn substance off, kind of take the strain off the system. And we'll apply, there's the black one. I don't know if I had the right thing selected or not. I don't think I did. The black looks right. I actually have that set to be a black metallic color, so it's kind of the old black sneak thief look. I think that's looking fine. There's the tan. I think that's looking okay. There's a little bit of goofiness in the collar because I have to flip the normals. That was the worn black leather. I want to take, where's my, oh, these are the, I want to take a look at the velvet. Those are all sort of leather colors. There's the black velvet with the gold threads. I think that'll be fine. As the red velvet, I think I'm good. And then I just have a white velvet, which is just a generic white. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm good with the cloak. Let's turn the, let's do this. Go back to texture shaded. We're going to load in the dagger and the sheath and work with those for a bit. I still at some point have to start breaking the outfit apart. We might do a little bit of that today, although I only have 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I might spend most of that on just the dagger. Let's see where we left off with that. I think it's in Blender, and it was probably ready to be exported if I hadn't done that already. I don't know. Let's just do a quick import and see what we got sitting in here. Let's switch you to details. Let's drag you out a bit. Let's sort by name. And yeah, I don't see knife or scabbard or sheath. I'm going to call it, if it's a knife, you call it a sheath, right? So we got to do a little bit of work over here. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to position you like so. File import, no, file open. Night Veil knives. There we go. Don't save. I think I saved this out for Substance Painter. And these are the ones that have to go into Daz. I have the knife centered up so that when you hold it in your hand, the center of rotation is right there. And they're designed to be, because pulling a knife that way, I'm envisioning putting them on the bracers. I'll put one on each one. I might change my mind and maybe just stick it on the belt, but I think for right now, I'm just going to go with that. So let's export this. You are look like you're probably, these are probably all good to go, right? Yep. Activate export. Night Veil knife. And use the Daz preset. Am I in Night Veil whip? I am. Export that. And did I call you sheath? I did call it sheath. Knife sheath. Although here it says cube, but we're not paying attention to that. Sheath. Export that. All right, pop over into Daz. Let's get these in here. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna just hide the cloak for now. That's my import button. There we go. Let's sort by date so that the most recent stuff pops on top. And zoom in. And probably a good start. Although, is when I import this, is there a way to tell it to put the center right there? And do I have, am my normals flipped at all? I don't see anything red, so probably fine. I'm going to re-import this and I'm going to look at the import options. I haven't really examined them in a while. Like I've just gotten used to using certain settings that I know work. And so I tend not to even depart from the beaten path. And so there could be something in here that says, orient, but I'm not sure. Read UV coordinates, we want that. Axis conversions are fine. You know what? I don't see something in here that tells me where it says center. So I think Daz is just putting it in the center of the geometry, which is fine. But that means I want to move my center over here. It's easy enough to do. We just go into the joint editor and set. I'm going to put that out towards the end, and then I'm just going to put this one right in here. So we go to the tool settings. So that just needs to be zeroed out. And then I want to just zero this out, except in the Z. So I'll just put the tippy tip out over there. Doesn't make a big difference. The real thing that's used for is where the next bone generates. So I think that's good. So we're going to right click and memorize the rigging. Let's go over to the surfaces tab, select that, and make sure blade, handle, and trim. These are these two little parts here. Trim, that's the handle, that's the blade. Let's drop a generic shader on there to start with. And I'm getting an awful lot of stress in here. Let's see if we can clean that up with the angle. Does that help? That helps a lot. There we go. All right, I think it's all good. Well, we want to put materials on here, but for starters, and then I'm just going to save this. It is really flat, I know. It's. I kind of imagine it is kind of a throwing knife, but you could always cut a throat with it, I'm sure. Anyhow, let's do this. I'm going to save as a figure. I'm going to save it here to start with. And I need to make hand poses. I still need to make a belt buckle too. Ah, and I got to bring buttons in for the pants. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to bring buttons in for the pants. I'm going to steal them from another outfit that had buttons. I think the Crossroads outfit. I think I stole that button from something. Anyhow, that's the button I'm going to use in here. It's just a simple button with two holes in it and a little bit of thread. And I'm going to put you over here, and you're going to be Night Veil Knife. You're going to be Night Veil Knife. You're just going to be a prop. Oh, I can't set this because I have my smart content turned off. So we're just going to accept that. All right, let's get the scabbard in here. I want to put the center point of the scabbard there. And actually, and it's going to sit right down here on the bottom of the scabbard is what I'm thinking. Sheath. I'm getting the sheath. There we go. All right, I can see the stress in that, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Select, apply the generic shader, come down here and tweak the angle. So cleans that up. Probably good. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to manually drag that to line it up. You know what? Maybe right about in there. And I'm not going to overly complicate this one. I'm just going to set it at the end. Should be good. Let me see how we are. So X position, that's almost 0. We'll make it 0. Just make it 0 like that. And memorize the rigging. Should be good. Let's save that now. Knife sheath. Product is knife veil. Okay. I think for this, I'm just going to do a brown and brass and a black and silver. And then we'll do, yeah, and then same thing. And we'll just do iron blades, and then we'll do worn versions. So I think I'm just going to do 4 versions for the knife. Dum, 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 dum. So anyhow, we need substance again. Let's see how this goes. I should. Am I done with this? I think I can close this. I want to leave this open. We'll try to knock these out. I'm going to do this on a 2K map because the outfit's on a 4K map. So you save a little bit of size that way. File new. Do I have? See, I do have the knife saved out. Nice. I thought I did. Excellent. All right, let's bake. Bake mesh maps. I don't need thickness. Don't need ID. Okay, bake selected textures. And everything's on one tile. Kind of like the way we planned it. All right, let's bake the ID map so we can put different materials on different parts. I'm going to bake that at 4K. Going to come over here, choose that. You can't see it, but I can see the little picture that shows the colors. I'm going to tweak this cage to be tighter for better ID map fidelity. All right, bake that. Should be good. Mode, painting. Let's start with steel. And tempered steel. Let's just do that. And I don't see there's my blade. Is that going to work? I don't know. What other steel options do we have? I have a polished steel. What's the polished steel look like? I don't know how shiny that is. I might shine that up a little bit. We have options to tweak the steel roughness. Dirt oxidation down. I think that'll be fine. I'll probably crank the dirt oxidation up on a worn version. Probably fine. Probably good. Leather. Let me see if I can find. I'm just going to take fine leather. And we'll do that in black. By default, it comes in with this slightly brown color, which I don't like. So I'm just going to slide that over there. And then we'll duplicate that. One of these days, I'll remember the Control D for duplicate. All right, let's make you brown. Could be okay. I'm also just going to put leather on the handle too. Um, do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to just put brass and silver on there. I don't know if I can change the color of my polished brass. Is there a color option for the brass here? There is not. So let's take you and bring you down to here. And then we'll say silver, and put that on there. And that goes with the black. And I'm not sure how this is looking. What does my base color look like? Boy, that is a dark looking steel. I'm not liking you much. That's because I accidentally put the wrong material in here. Dang it. I accidentally dropped the leather into the steel. That explains why it doesn't look right. I think that might be good. I think we'll go with that. I think I'll make my fine dark leather a little darker and a little. Did I not? Yeah, I did. I think this is fine. Where's my sheath? There it is. Oh, I need to, no, wrong one. Brass polished. I want to put you on that as well. And you get to go over there too. All right, do we have... I'm going to try to use a... Instead of just dropping my generic material on here, I'm going to try to just use already worn materials for a change. So we're going to do that, and that also needs to go on here. So let me duplicate that. And I'm going to put a hue and saturation filter on here. So we're going to make it desaturated and a little darker. Oops. Are you not? You didn't seem to do anything. There we go. That's better. Do I have a wrap material on here that I can kind of maybe put some sort of weird wrap texture on the... No. Let's go take a quick look at the substance pages and see if I can just get a quick wrap that I can put on the handle here. Adobe substance3d.com assets. There we go. So where's the community assets? There they are. Maybe something like that. That might give me a nice bump or something that I can add. Let's also take a look here. All assets. So these are the official Adobe assets, and that other one was community assets. Let's narrow it down to materials. Carbon fiber, random wrap. I don't think... Yeah, I'm not getting... I'm just gonna... Let's play with this. Can I just download you leather wrap? And what I really want is basically maybe just the bump in the normals. We'll see how this looks though. So over in here, how do I, where's the, it's in the win, I can actually load it straight in here without having to do the usual. So is it window, views? Am I not seeing assets? It says assets is around somewhere. Layers, properties, substance 3D, assets. Oh, there's the assets there. It used to be down here, but I think I might have moved it somewhere. Oh, there it is, right there. So are you going to show me the community asset? No. This is one of those cases where I think I typed in too many words. Yeah, it's not. So, okay, so I'm going to have to just download this way. Old school, baby. Let's cut that. Let's run over. Where are we at? Where are we at? We're going over to documents, Adobe, Substance Painter, assets, materials. And I'm just going to put this in there. And this is leather wrap. So here, we come over to here. File, import resources, add resources, documents, Adobe, Substance, assets, materials, sort by date. So that we'll just get that. Yeah, I'll just do that. And then we import that. Oh, cancel. You are I'm going to say, what are you? Base material. Oh, I have that in here already. Dang. Dog. Let's try that. I kind of like that, actually. It's kind of what I wanted. Although I don't necessarily like the color. So what we can do is turn the color off. And I think that gives me kind of a cool look. All right, I think I'm ready to. I might still use my dirt in here. Um, I lost something over here. There it is, layers. My layers. It got crushed, and then I can't find it. The important thing, of course, is the thing that it hides. So, gonna put that in there. Kind of like that. That's the alternate brass. I'm gonna put you up here. You are worn leather. I think I'm gonna tweak this. Um, normal, height, normal. I'm gonna turn those off. So I'm using the wrap for the bump maps, basically. I need a little more dirt in here, I think. Do I get a... No, I'm not crazy about that. Let's maybe it works okay over here. Let's try it. Let's see what else we've got here for leathers. So I mean, there's the standard worn, like worn horse leather. So if I use that, and then I think I can tweak the color of that, right? And I'm going to dupe that and try to make it blacker, a dark version of that. Duplicate layer. See, I get a color with this. This is nice. And then we can just kind of bring you back down into here. I think I'm going to go with that. And what I need, a worn silver tarnish. I don't have anything tarnished. Never mind. I can add dirt to my silver, I think. We'll do that. We'll just add a dirt layer to this. So just add a black mask. And we'll put a filter on that. A generator. I'm going to add a generator to that. Never mind. Add generator. Dirt. And I think I'm going to put some sort of grunge right behind that. Let's see. Do that. Do that. Do I have a color selector on here? I don't. Let's group those together. Oh, that's roughness. I got these backwards. All right, that's the dirty. I need a dirty metal blade though. Didn't I have a corroded? I like the bronze corroded, but this isn't actually bronze though, is it? But it looks kind of cool. Do I have any? What are my options for that? There's probably a worn steel. Maybe we'll go with that instead. Um, oh, what did I just get rid of? I'm almost there. So let's take a look at maybe rust never sleeps. We'll do a rusty. See something like that, but I don't need the whatchamacallits. Steel rust surface. What do you look like? I would actually like to see better rust spots, maybe. Metal brush. What if I put... Is there a rust option on this? Is that what it is? I don't see. Rust leak bottom plates. So I kind of like that. Do I have an option for plate hollow, plate overlap? Scratch density, rust amount. If I take those off, I still get this little line in here. I'm wondering, what are our options? Let me see if I can get that panel line to vanish. There we go. I kind of like that. I got a panel line over here now, though, don't I? If only this was like so. This is close. What does this rust do? Like you. You know what? I think I might live with that. So I'm going to use the rusty blade, and then we can use the different. So I think we're ready. Um, is good. I forget, what are you again? Oh, you're the silver. We like the leather wrap. I'm going to put leather wrap up there above things. And, turn those off. I turn this off. So that's the black and silver. Oh, and I lost the leather wrap. Let's put the leather wrap, goes way up there. There we go. Now we're good to go. All right. Control Shift E. Oh, I haven't saved this yet. Let's save this. File, save as. Night Veil, knives, knife, and sheath. We'll do that. Control Shift D. I'm going to save this at 2K. We're going to do our five channel. Yeah, we'll do 5 channel. I don't need UDIMs this. We'll just do the straight up 5 channel. Export. Open output directory. Oh, there's that's left over. This is good. Base color, that's black silver. Is good. Now I just need cut all of this. Let's run over. Let's run over to here. But we want to be here in the knife folder. There we go. All right, let's select both of these. I can apply all the textures at once. They're on the same map. Okay, and did I put my... I did put my generic shader on there. I see that. All right, base color, metallicity, height, normal map, normal map. I might re-export these. Let's take a look. All right, are you using a normal map? You are not. You are now. Are you using a normal map? You actually are using a normal map. I think this is looking fine. Is that what I saw over here? No, that did not export. That was a crappy export. Let's try this again. The color map, I think, is fine. Anyhow, Control Shift E, Control Shift E. There we go. Export. Pop over to the export folder. I'm not getting my normal map exporting out. We totally saw that texture link. Why are you not? Why are you not coming out right? That looks good. That looks fine. That's fine. Let's. So these are all fine. Just this normal map is janked. It's probably having issues exporting it. Let's try setting this over to my bump options, bump color. There, nope, that was base color bumps. Let's try that. There it is. I see it now. All right, so those are good. Now I'm just going to switch it over and we're going to save out a brown and brass version. So those we don't need. These are good. Except the brass doesn't seem to have a normal turned on. Do I get an option for a normal in the brass? Maybe not. Maybe I should click on the brass. Say normal. That looks fine. Not that it's doing anything. Control Shift E. You know what? I just need the color map here. Should be good. Brown and brass. All right, now we're going to do the dirty versions. So I can probably not use those. We can bring the worn up. I'm going to switch back over to material. That's the worn black. All right, excellent. Control Shift E. Let's do 5 channel. Let's see how that looks. I didn't move you. I gotta move you. So how did that... It's still not exporting the normal map out, but I don't really need the normal map, and I don't really need that height map, so we can get rid of those. And you are going to be... Oh no! It didn't export out the sheath colors. Uh, you know what? Let's uh let's give ourselves some working space here. File, save. All right, let's save you into the whip folder. File save as into the whip folder. Should be good. Wait a minute, what happened there? Oh, I don't have stuff applied to that. Hey, my problem. Color selector. We want that included. And you, worn horse leather. Let's include that. There we go. That should fix that oversight. It's good. I don't need those. Do I? Why are you? You're still being a butt. I think I will. I think that is a little bit different than what I've got over here. Let's take a look. It is. I'm going to use that height because it's got some texture to it. Um, so this is going to be worn. I'm just going to copy worn underscore. Silver, black silver. That's worn. That's worn. And that's worn. All right, where are we at? All right, one more to go. Um, hide that, hide that. Bring these two back. And I gotta make sure I'm including that. And that. I only really need the color map on this one. Okay, should be good. I don't. That goes over into the directory. This stuff I can just delete. This I'm going to hit save on. I should be good, so I'm just going to close that. All right, let's set up our materials and save out the material files on this. I can save it so that you select either one, and we're going to do that. So we're going to make a. Actually, we're going to load in one of the substance files and use that to make the map files for the knife and sheath. Import substance. So I want that one right there. So basically, you know what? I'm just gonna copy that. Or that doesn't make any difference. Do that, but I gotta tweak the angle a little bit over here. And then we can just start dragging and dropping. I didn't put my base shader on here. I thought I did. Now we can do a little bit of dragging and dropping. So this is the black and the silver. Here's the height map into the bump channel. There's a metallicity map. There's a normal map. Whoops, I double clicked on it. And there's a roughness map. Should be good. I'm going to run a quick. I did save you guys, right? Knife and knife sheath. Yeah, I can. So I can delete those. I want to do a quick. Let's do a render of this and see what it looks like. So that's the brown and the brass. Is that picking it? I'm going to change my lighting in here. I think I'm getting weird. Yeah, it is really tinting the hell out of that, isn't it? You know, I'm going to go ahead and save these and we'll tweak them later. Um, Here, we'll say this is a material preset. Um, Night Veil. Knife and sheath. Black. Silver. Accept that. Brown and brass. Let's make sure I have the whole thing selected. And I drop the new color on here. And then we save that. Element, there it is, right there. Brass. All right, let's do the worn version then. So we'll start with the worn black and silver color. Use the worn height map. Use the worn metallicity map. I mean, you're going to use the same normal map, and then we use the worn roughness. Should be good. I think that was it. So we're going to put worn right there. And then swap that out for the worn brown and brass. Oh, my brass has an R in the back of it. Right there. I got to rename that. How are you looking when I render you? I think I can live with that. I really should remember to put something on the edge of this thing. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, so these are actually eventually going to end up pairing into the bracers. So I think maybe we're going to break the bracers off the main outfit and then set these up on them and save that as a wearable preset. That's what we're going to do right now. So eventually I have to start breaking the outfit apart into the different pieces because right now I have three different pieces in one set right now. It was just easier to work that way. So if I do the U, and what do I want the default to be? maybe tan. I think I kind of want tan with the brown. Let's try that. So I'm looking for outfit leather tan. What I want to do is, actually, that's not too bad. I'm going to live with that. So I'm going to use that for my basic bracer. We're going to separate this from the rest of that. We'll go pop into the, so first things first, I'm going to save this as bracers. So we're going to come over here and change this. We'll pop over here to the scene identifier and change that. Accept that. I'm going to save you somewhere in here. Product is Nightshade. I can't change any of these because I have the database turned off. And Nightshade braces, G8 female. Night Veil. It's Night Veil. I keep saying Nightshade. All right, so that's good. Let's delete you and let's reload in the braces we just saved. Right there. And we'll delete everything but the braces themselves. So we'll pop over here to the geometry editor. Go to tool settings. Come over here, and we are looking at surface sets. So basically, I am looking at. I'm going to select that. I'm going to select that, and we're going to invert our selection. Geometry selection, invert, invert. Where's the thing that says it? It should be, there it is, invert. There we go. Geometry editing, delete selected polygons. Yes, please. Alrighty, and then we're just going to save those. Then we're going to load them in and put these on here and save that as a wearable preset. So I got to resave this. I'm going to save over this bracers here. I'm going to say yes. I got to say Night Veil there, and all of the rest of the stuff is okay. Excellent. Let's delete that. I need a Genesis 8 in here. I should have done that on a Genesis 8. Oh well, we can still fix this. I don't actually need these anymore. What is this? Is this the Mats files? This is the Mats files. I could probably go ahead and save this. Hey, there we are. Okay, so did you get parented on there? I have to change this when we resave it, but Mish, um, are you fitted to? Fit to, you did not fit to. Genesis 8, there we go. That's good. I'm going to resave these now that they're fitted. And then let's bring in that. Let's bring in that. Let's put this onto that. Let's apply our one of the matte materials. I'm going to go with the brown and brass. Set that up as the default. I'm going to line this up here, and then I'm going to figure out how I want to set up our rigid follow node. Okay, so oh no, what are you doing up there? What the hell? So if I move you, I don't know what I did there. So I want to set that 45. Is it 45 on the rotate 45 on the X? No. Oh, I was doing the wrong thing. It is. I want to do 45. Then I'm going to switch over, and then we're just going to line you up. I wish I had a finer control on this. And I know there's a way to adjust it, but it's just a little tedious. So maybe I'm going to just put you up in here. I think. Maybe bring you out a little bit like that. I think that'll be fine. And so then we're going to just put a rigid follow node in here. So we'll select the bracers. The right forearm of the bracers. Go to the geometry editor. I'm going to center that up. I think maybe we'll just hide that for a second while we... Let's try this. Geometry assignment, create rigid follow node. I'm going to say node knife. And that is right. Okay, and that, because I had the, you're supposed to be on the forearm. Where did my node go? You are on the forearm. Okay. I'm going to tweak the settings of that. Zero the rotations out. Hide it. Memorize that. I'm going to lock it down. And make sure my memorize is good on that. Then we're just going to come over here and bring you back to life and parent you onto that. And then we're going to put one over on the left side as well. So I'm going to duplicate this and move it to the other side. Kind of like that. And then unparent this. And we can just do that over here under parameters in general. We are looking at transform. So we're just going to take that and move it to the other side. And now we're going to tweak our rotations. I think the X rotates fine. I think I just have to kind of reverse these, the X and the Y. There we go. And then I just have to set up rigid follow node on here. Right about in here. I chose like 3 across that band. On the left forearm. I'm on the wrong left forearm. Right there. I think that's good. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put it. Geometry assignment, create rigid follow node, node, knife, Kniffy, knife, left. Except that should be good. All right, tweak the zero out the rotations. Arg. All right, back. Hide the visibility. Memorize that. Lock it down. Memorize that. Parent this to that. And we're going to memorize this. I actually have a button for that. And also I'm going to memorize these two. So it's something like that. I don't know. Let's do a quick render and see how stupid it looks. Yeah, it's fine. I think. Yeah, I think that's okay. I did want them to be really flat. And they are kind of small. But that's okay. That was kind of the design. Hopefully I can get a decent hand pose. I think Jay's supposed to be on today. Probably over on YouTube. All right, I'm going to save this as a wearable preset now. So we're going to select our Lady Genesis 8 here. Come over here. And I'm going to overwrite this with a wearable preset with this with the Kniffys on it. So wearable preset. Let's do, I'm just going to overwrite the bracers and put them right there. And yeah, and we're just double checking that all my stuff is in here. I think we're good. I'm going to say accept to that. I think that's fine. I'm going to break apart. We still have like 12 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start breaking apart the rest of the outfit. We're going to separate off the bodice and the pants and just save that. I'm going to put a texture on it and save it with those. So we're slowly, and then the belt. I still have to make a buckle for the belt. And we're going to attach a couple of pouches using rings on the little loops we have there. The boots are in good shape, except I probably should save them with a pose and with a texture, so we'll do that. We'll put the boots on. I'm trying to think, what do I want? Do I want to do brown pants, brown boots, tan top, and maybe put a brown cloak on for the starter set? I think something like that. So somewhere in here, let's just do the brown boots. And I'm going to select that and we'll come over here and we're going to save the boots as a wearable preset so we can save that foot pose in there with it. So wearable preset, Night Veil boots, Genesis 8 female, save. Yes, please. So I don't want the bracers, we just want the boots, but we do want to save a pose. So come over here and I'm just going to pose the feet. Like that. So the feet will automatically pose when we load that in. Let's put, so I'm going to break the outfit apart. I'm going to put a color materials on that. I'm going to resave this in tan and this, but we're going to put brown on this right now. Outfit. I am looking for something, outfit, leather, brown. There we go. I'm going to go with that. Okay, I'm going to save this twice. So we're going to change the names. So in the scene, outfit becomes pants. And come up to here, edit. Nope. Scene. Pants. Accept that. Okay, we're going to save that. And you know what? I'll just right there. Pants, G8 female. Night Veil. Pants, G8 female. I think I'm going to call this a bodice instead of a top. Or actually, I'm calling it top. I think I'm calling it top in the materials, aren't I? So I guess I'll just call it top. I did call it top. All right, we're just going to call you top then. All right, so same drill. Going to come over here and save you as top. Change you to top. Come over here. Change the scene identifier here to be top. Accept that and then save that as top. I'm going to cancel this real quick. I'm going to change the color to tan and then save the top. There we go. You still say pants. I think I'm good. All right, I'm going to delete this. You're going to come over here. I'm going to refresh. There's top. There's pants. There's outfit. All right, let's load in pants. And basically, we're going to select everything that's not pants. So we'll do that with the geometry. My geometry tool. Tool settings. See, I've got, what's her name selected. We'll choose the pants. So we can come over here. I'm going to select everything that's not pants. Pants, 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 right there, top. Just come down. Whee! All right, we'll delete all of those. And then save. You still say pants? And did the scene identifier, did that actually still say pants? It does. And I'm going to overwrite this thing here that says pants. And I'm going to say yes. And right here, make sure that product doesn't change. So that should be good. Now we'll just load in the top. Get rid of the parts that aren't top. The geometry tool. Okay, bracers, bracers, pants, 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 pants. Top, 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 top. Okay, all of that's good. So now we just have the top and save it out. Double check my scene identifier. Does say top, says top is good. Hit that. Come over here. Say yes. Okay, that does say top. Product needs to be changed to a night veil. Should be good. And I'm going to load all these pieces in and save them. The belt still needs work. And I think we're going to call it here for today. We're pretty close to here. So I'm going to close you. Select you. Load in. So the bracers are good. I think the bracers are good. We'll double check that. So, and then let's just double check everything. So Control Shift F. All right, load in the boots. The feet get posed. Oh, hold on a second. All right, we're coming back. We're coming back. Let me get my ears back on. Let's open up that camera. All right, boots are looking good. Belt still needs to be resaved. I haven't put a material on it. I'm just going to check a material on here. I'm going to save the whole thing as the basic outfit, I think, right where I am right now. Um, do I want to use the tan belt to contrast with the brown pants? I think I might do that. And do I actually want to maybe just use the brown top with the tan pants? I don't know. I'm overthinking it. Outfit. Leather brown. There we go. I'm just going to do that. Let's come over here. So where's the bracers? There's the bracers. We'll see if that loads in with the daggers or the knives attached. Boots is good. The cloak, I think I have to resave the cloak. Yeah, let's put a material on here and resave the cloak. And I think I'm going to put the brown on the cloak. Leather, cloak, brown. There we go. And I'm going to just resave. Let me just make sure I do have the cloak selected. Excellent. There's another cloak in here somewhere. Nope, that was a save image. Oh no! Um, all right. No, I want to do this. There we go. I'm saving the cloak right there. Say yes, the rest of this should be fine. Okay, what's next? Pants. Pants looking good. Top is looking good. So that's kind of, and then we're going to add the belt pouches and a belt buckle. And that's basically the outfit right there. So we'll do a preliminary save as the full outfit here as a wearable preset for now. Wearable preset. So that will go right here. We'll put a little like exclamation point there. Outfit. Should be good. I think actually I don't need a space there. All right, we're going to save all of this. Boots, belt, bracers, cloak, pants, top. And we'll also pose the feet to fit the boots when they come in by default. Is good. Accept that. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna. Hey, it's 4 o'clock. We're gonna call it a day here. Let's do a little task render. And while that's going, let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Hey, thank you all for being here. Hey, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. That would be awesome if you could. If you're on Twitch, feel free to stick around and join the raid. Let's take a look at who else is on the Twitch first today. Dum 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 dum. Taddy is on. Taddy's always a good raid. I'm going to see if any of our other friends are out and about. Out and about. Hey, Farrell, it was good to see you. Charles, always a pleasure to have you on, buddy. My musical friends, Mojo Ryzen are on. Mojo Ryzen Jam is on. I haven't seen them in a while. Atomic Gift Shop, I haven't been catching them much. I think we will pop over and say hi to Atomic Gift Shop if they're still on. They may still be on. We'll do that. Control C. 3D modeling a grill and other stuff. Trying out new stream rewards. That's what they have. All right. So thank you all for being here. I think that's coming along nicely. I might have to tweak my material some. Her feet are stuck in the floor. But anywho, hey, we will be back tonight for the Saturday Night Social. If you can be here for that, that would be awesome. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's an art share. It's a Discord chat. It's an old cartoon. If you have stuff you want to share, feel free to drop it into the Discord. Or you can just bring links later on. That always works. Hey, feel free to purchase my stuff at Daz. Check out Charles. Doesn't really stream. But you can't see his Discord over here. Also, hey, I saw Leo was in the house.
This is Sparta!
There you go. Check out our man Leo. Getting ready to do a YouTube channel, I think, over there. So I think we are all good to go. Hey, YouTube, thanks for being here. Twitch, we have raid calls. / if you're not a sub, feel free to use this. If you are a sub, get to use the sub. Raid call. All right, let's do this before they can raid away. They've been out for 2.5 hours. I don't know how long Atomic Gift Shop stays on. But if they're anything like me, they're getting ready to go. So there we go. Raid has been activated. I think. I do see it. All right, there we go. Hey, I hope you I hope you have a good rest of a Saturday or Sunday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And hasta la vista, baby.